This is Richard with PROPO D-Force Aviation, and this is the sixth in a series of videos designed to help the viewer program their Elite or Matrix transmitter for electric flybarless helicopter use. I know I say this every time, but safety is a primary concern. The programming of the radio as done in this video is to be done only with the transmitter on. The model should not be powered up and the motor should not be connected. This video will include setting the gyro gains for all three axes from the gyro sense menu, and setting the timer, mapping it to a switch, and mapping timer reset to a switch. This is a demonstration of how to use the gyro sensitivity menu. The actual values that you use will depend on the helicopter, flybarless unit, servos, geometry, etc. We're going to start by changing the values of the rudder gyro gain, again just for demonstration purposes. The gyro gains for aileron and elevator are changed in exactly the same manner. From the home screen, touch the menu icon in the lower right-hand corner. You're now in the function menu. Touch the arrow to the right of the screen to access the second page of the function menu. In the top row toward the right is the gyro sense menu. Click on it. You're now in the very familiar window that says confirm servo hold. We're going to touch yes. Now, just for a moment, look in the upper left-hand corner. We have the also now familiar position indicator. As we flip the flight mode switch, we'll see this change.
Step 1. Step 2. Normal.
We want to start out in position 0, which is our normal mode. On this screen, you'll see 3 rows of information showing the gyro number, the channel used, the gyro gain setting as a percentage, and a box with an N or an S in it. And finally, on the right, the axis that the gyro function controls. Okay, we're going to start with our gyro number 1, channel 5 rudder gain. We're going to touch the box in the upper middle of the screen. Now, we've seen this small window appear many times before for various other functions in the radio. Now we're going to touch the up arrow above the 5 twice. We'll touch the red X in the upper right of the small window to back out. Note that the value for the rudder gain is now 70%. Next, we're going to change the rudder gain in our stunt 1 mode. So we flip the flight mode switch to stunt 1.
Step 1.
We note the position indicator is now 1. And we note that before, where it said 70% for normal mode, it says 50% now. As we did previously for normal mode, we're going to click the box. We're going to change the setting this time to 65%. Hit the red X to back out. And we see the gain has changed to 65%. Now we're going to change flight modes and flip into stunt 2.
Step 2.
Again, we note the position indicator is changed. And again, in the center, the gyro gain for rudder is reverted to the original 50%. We're going to change this again to 55%. And again, these are just arbitrary values. This is just for purposes of demonstration. Red X to back out. Now, as we change flight modes,
Step 1. Normal.
we can see the rudder gain settings change.
Step 1. Step 2. Normal.
Now we can do the very same thing for the aileron axis and the elevator axis. And again, I'm just going to put arbitrary values in here.
Step 1. Step 2.
Now as we flip the flight mode switch, we'll see the gains for all 3 channels change.
Step 1. Normal. Step 2.
Now, for purposes of initial test flying, I'm going to set these all back to 50%.
Stunt 1. Normal.
And again, I like to start at 50%. That's what's recommended for the gyro gains. In many cases, when you lift off the helicopter for the first time, you'll feel that this is a bit too loose, so you'll have to increase the gain. But again, that will vary with helicopter, flybarless units, servos, blades, everything. Now, something that I should point out again are these boxes here. These say N in them. N stands for normal in JR nomenclature, but it really means rate mode. The default on the transmitter is for your normal mode to have the gyro set for normal mode. When you go into either stunt mode,
Stunt 1. Stunt 2.
these change to S for stunt, and that's actually heading hold mode.
Normal.
Now, if you want heading hold mode in all three flight modes, which a lot of us do, you can just click on the box where it says N. You'll get a small window that says tail lock. Normal is highlighted. Go to stunt. And just repeat this for all three axes. So that is essentially how you use the GyroSense menu to adjust the gyro gains for each axis in each flight mode. Later on, we'll do something more interesting with the gyro menu when we program the radio to convert the trim tabs for aileron, elevator, and rudder into trim input switches that allow you to adjust the gyro gains in each flight mode in flight. Okay, we're going to press the back button on the face of the transmitter to back out. And we're going to press it one more time to return to the home screen. Okay, next we're going to set the timer up and map it to a switch. We're going to touch the menu button in the lower right-hand portion of the screen. We're going to touch the arrow on the right, as we did previously. And we're going to touch the timer button in the bottom center of the screen. Okay, we have three timers available to us, 1, 2, and 3. We're only interested in the first one at the moment, so we're going to touch that. Now a small window has appeared. The timer is inhibited right now. We see that highlighted. We can set it for countdown, which I normally use for helicopters, or stopwatch. So we're going to touch countdown. Now back to the main timer screen. We're going to set up timer 1, which is right here. Under setup time is the amount of time that the timer will run for. Now, 10 minutes is quite long for an electric helicopter, so we're going to touch this to reduce the time. Going to touch the down arrow here, and I'm going to go down to 4 minutes. Again, this is something that will vary with the helicopter, the battery setup, how hard you fly, a lot of other factors, but we're going to start with 4 minutes. We're going to touch the red X to back out. To the right of our time is whether or not we want the vibration on. Now this is more useful if you have a nitro helicopter or you're in a noisy environment. I usually leave this on, which is on right now. If we wanted to shut this off, we would click the on button and click off right there, but we want to leave it on for the time being. To the right of that is switch select. Okay, now on the switch select screen for timer, we see that there are no switches, levers, buttons, sticks, etc. that are highlighted in red. Now we want to map our timer to our throttle hold switch. So We're going to touch the image of switch L, which we set for throttle hold before. Again, and we've seen this many times before, we have an enlarged view of the switches around switch L. We're going to touch it again. Okay, a small window has appeared that says L in the upper left-hand corner. To the right of the image of a switch, we see position 0 and position 1. Position 0 refers to the aft position of the switch. Position 1 refers to the forward position, which would be throttle hold. In this case, we're going to click position 0 because we want the timer to start when throttle hold is off. Note that a check has appeared in the box next to position 0. I'm going to touch the red X on the right to back out. Back in the enlarged view of the switches around the throttle hold switch, we can see switch L is highlighted in red. We're going to back out by hitting the back button. And we're now back on the switch select screen, and in the overall view of the transmitter, we can see that switch L, our hold switch, is again highlighted in red. We're going to hit the back button on the face of the transmitter until we return to the home screen. Now, you'll hear beeping periodically as you do this, and the timer is running. Now, the timer, again, has been set to turn off and on with the hold switch, so I'm going to flip the hold switch.
Hello.
To reset the timer, make sure the timer widget is present on the home screen. If you don't have a timer widget like this in your home screen, touch the menu button. Follow across the top from Function, through System, through Others, to Widget, and touch where it says Widget. We're now in the Widget menu. In the center of the widget screen is the timer icon. We're going to touch this and drag it to the home screen. Now, there already is a timer icon on my home screen, so this is going to look a bit redundant, and then you place it wherever it is you want it. Click on the Timer 1 widget in the center of the screen. A new window has appeared that says Timer 1 in the upper left. Below that, you'll see boxes with Reset, Switch Select, Reset Device, Voice, Timer Setting. We're interested in the box labeled Reset Device. To the right is a button that says Inhibit. Touch that button. We're now back in the Device Select screen. The word Inhibit is highlighted in the upper left. Below that is the, again, familiar image of the transmitter with all its switches. Note that all the switches are grayed out. Touch the image of the switch that you want to use to reset the timer. In this case, we're going to use spring-loaded switch C, which is in the back upper left of the transmitter. So we're going to touch the image of switch C. Again, we have the close-up view of all the switches in this area of the transmitter. We're going to touch switch C again. We're returned to the device select menu. Now it says current device C, and Inhibit is no longer highlighted. We're going to press the back button on the face of the transmitter. We're now in the Timer 1 window. We're going to touch the red X. And now we're back in the home screen. So now if we want to start our timer, we turn throttle hold off.
Normal.
If we want to stop our timer, we're going to turn throttle hold on.
Hello.
If we want to reset our timer, we flip our spring-loaded switch C in the upper rear of the transmitter. Note the timer has now reset. Note that if you use throttle hold to control the timer switch, anytime you turn the transmitter on, the timer will start. You can stop it by just flipping into throttle hold, and you can reset it by flipping switch C that we just set up. In the next video, we're going to demonstrate how to map the gyro gains for each axis to the trim input switches on the face of the transmitter. Thank you.